Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you my best bets for tomorrow's horse racing action. Before we get stuck into that, I just want to remind you that if you haven't done so already, if you click the link below, you can join the Telegram group that I'm now part of. I've teamed up with some good tipsters and we're going to be doing racing tips, football tips, golf tips, lots of good banter and good fun along the way, and hopefully we can have some winners. And if you want to join it, just click the link below and you'll download the Telegram app, no strings attached. It's a bit like just having a massive WhatsApp group really, with a load of racing fans, sport fans, just giving their thoughts and feelings on what they think their best bets are and just building a bit of a community of punters. So if you want to be part of that, we've already got about 30 or 40 people on board since we started it yesterday. Just click the link below and Bob's your uncle and you'll be up and running. So I urge you to do that if you want to be part of it. But before we get stuck into for the tips for tomorrow, just recapping on how today's selections ran. Well, first of all, I should say that we've still got 2 tips to run at the current time of recording. They're running in the last 2 races at Kempton, and my Longshot that we put up at 50-1 last night is now 16-1 and 14-1 I've seen in some places. So there has been a bit of money for it. Maybe it's you guys backing it and shortening up the price. And also as well, our nap for Sir Mark Prescott, Anno Lucius, has got a run in the final race at Kempton and has been steady in the market all day, round about 7-2 last time I saw on the best odds angle. So if you're watching this and it goes out before the last race at Kempton, make sure you get on if you want to have a winner, because hopefully, fingers crossed, he can go one better from his last run. But away from that, earlier on in the day, Quote Line Direct was our first tip of the day at Beverley. Ran okay, travelled beautifully into the race, but in the end probably just lacks the stamina to be effective over a mile and a half. Probably 10 furlongs is that horse's optimum trip, but still nonetheless, it ran a credible race, and I don't think you could say Graham Lee gave it a bad ride. It was just one of those things where the horse wasn't good enough on the day. And then our next tip was at Chepstow with Somewhere Secret. I thought Richard Kingscote didn't give that the best ride. Went out to the front way too early. I think this horse should have been tracking the pace. It probably needed a lead, but it wanted to make the pace, which I just think the horse would never have got 6 furlongs doing that. The way he suggested last time, being in the midfield and then running on, suggested maybe he did want 6 furlongs. But yeah, a bit of a frustrating one there. And maybe the blinkers didn't help him as well. Maybe they should remove them next time, because that was the first time he'd ever run in the blinkers. So that was disappointing. However, our lay came in. We decided to take on Combine for Ryan Moore and Hugo Palmer. And that horse didn't even make the first 3, I think it finished in 4th place. And we decided to lay it. We laid it 3.0 last night, which is about the equivalent of 2-1 on the Betfair exchange. And that was our 6th consecutive winning lay bet. And if that's something you're not familiar with, if you just sign up to a betting exchange like Betfair or Smarkets, you've got a few out there now. If you just sign up there, you take on the horse, and you do have to give away liability if the horse it doesn't come in for you, but if it doesn't, you can get some good profits out of it, and we've had I think we're 9 from 11 now, so we're going pretty well, and we're laying horses that are normally around about 2-1, 3-1 chances, and I think the average is something like 3.2 last time I checked. So yeah, we're laying horses at the top of the market. We're not laying outsiders. We're laying horses that are well fancied in the betting, and I just don't think have a chance. And I've got a typical one for you tomorrow where hopefully we can continue that winning streak going. But enough of how the tips ran today. We'll get straight into the business end of things for tomorrow, all what you want to know about. And we start in the 12:15, the first race at Hamilton, their first race meeting of 2020. Nice little novice race here, but I thought Aish, I think that's how you pronounce it, should be our opening selection here for Kevin Ryan and Kevin Stott, both in great form. They teamed up to have a double on Royal Ascot on Saturday with Hello Hume Zane, and also as well Hey Jonesy, one of my Cliff horses. But yeah, this horse Aish showed some good form last time out to finish 4th behind Dandella, who was a Royal Ascot 2-year-old winner. She absolutely bolted up for Carl Burke. And if you actually go back and watch a replay of Aish, I thought she ran really well, considering I think she just lacked for that fitness, and she'll come on in bundles for that run. She actually travelled quite nicely into the race, but Dandella was just in a different league to her. But when she did just hit her wall, she did still stick on fairly well, and she nearly claimed third place on the line. I think she'll come massively forward for that, and Kevin Ryan's horse is now starting to hit the ground running. And I think even though the Carl Burke horse in this race is odds on, I think that's a ridiculous price. And at 10-3, I think that's good value for Aish, because I can see this horse taking a step forward. Kevin Ryan's horses as well normally learn for their first outing. And for me at 10-3, I think that's a good bet to kick things off for us tomorrow. We then go to Haydock for the 140, and this is going to be loaders extra, like the first tip I should have said actually. And we're going here with a horse called Orvar for James Doyle and Paul Midgley. Paul Midgley's horses are running okay at the moment. He's had a couple of winners, but he normally excels with sprinters, and this horse Orvar has been a good servant for him. Finished third at Doncaster on its seasonal reappearance last time out, and that was a good run, especially as well. It was the first time after having a wind up, so it was a good effort. Bumped into the likes of Lahore, Emboy, good top quality sprinters. And I think even though this race on paper there are some nice types in it, it's a bit slightly weaker to that effort at Doncaster last time out. I don't think the field is quite as strong. And this horse, if you actually go back through his form, looks still well handicapped to be off a mark of 90. Did win last season off a mark of 87, but actually started the season last year off 100, so you've got to think maybe it's got a few pounds in hand still. And I just think at 6-1, this horse has got a massive chance. You can get 4 places with a lot of firms, and I think the track at Haydock would suit him. He's never run there before, but sometimes it can pay for a closer, and he ran on really strongly last time to suggest that if he runs a similar race, I think he's the one they've all got to beat. And at 6-1, he represents the good bit of value, and even if he doesn't win and finishes second and third and still gives us running, you're still going to come out with a small profit. So for me, I think he represents some value there, and that's why I'm going to be putting him up tomorrow. We then go to my nap, which runs in the 320 at Hamilton with a horse called Big City for Roger Fell, whose horses are running okay. And Danny Tudhope is booked for the ride. Now, Danny Tudhope is starting to be amongst the winners now, and I think he's going to start cleaning up. Him and Ben Curtis are going to be the go-to men, I think. Up in the northern spheres of racing. Danny Tudhope last year, he was in the battle for quite a while with Oisin Murphy for the jockey's title. He gave it a good go, but in the end just found out short. I think he was quite quiet for a few weeks in August, and that kind of what killed off his title challenge. But still, nonetheless, Daniel Tudhope, he's a quality jockey, and I think his agent has booked him here because they think they've got a good chance of all the win. He's going to be drawn in stall 11 tomorrow, which is going to be good, especially over the sprint trips at Hamilton. You often want to be against that draw, or you want that draw, I should say, because you're going to be against the rail. And he's now off a mark of 59, and the handicap is actually going to be raising him £1 anytime soon. So running off a mark here at 59 will be good. Actually was running off a lot higher marks than this last season. And I just think dropping back in trip tomorrow to 6 furlongs will suit this horse. If it can get a prominent position, I think it's got a great chance. And its second thirst last time out has started to work out quite well. The 8th place horse, Tim Easterby, won at First yesterday, so the form's looking okay. And at 7-2 with some firms, I think that represents great value, and that's why he's going to be my nap. We then don't have to wait too long for the next best, which runs in the 340 at Haydock. I'm going with a horse here called Brunch for Callum Rodriguez and Michael Dodds. Now, this horse was a very impressive winner at Newcastle last time out to defy a penalty. I thought that was a really impressive effort, and he's going to be making his handicap debut tomorrow off a mark of 83, and I think that looks fairly workable in my opinion. He could definitely be a 90+ rated horse come the end of the season, and it was a hands and heels effort from his last run at Newcastle, and the form has worked out okay because the second and the third were 1 and 2, and okay, it was a weak race at Pontefract, but still nonetheless, they went out and they ran a good races and they finished first and second. So yeah, I think there's a lot to like about Brunch's performance last time out. There are some nice types in here, but he's already had the run. He's due to go up £4 in the future as well, and for a mark of 83, I think he looks very well treated. So at 11-4, I think that represents good value. If he went to maybe 2-1, I probably wouldn't back him, but I think 11-4, that's a fair price there, and I think he's definitely the one they've all got to beat, and that's why he is going to be my next best. We then go to my lay of the day, which comes In the 410, going for my 7th consecutive winning lay bet. And in the 410 at Haydock tomorrow, I'm going to be laying the favourite here, Sovereign Grant, for Ryan Moore and Sir Michael Stout. Going for another Ryan Moore lay. We took him on obviously today, and hopefully this can come in tomorrow. You can currently lay him for the win, and it's only going to be for the win at 3.4 on the Betfair exchange. Now this horse was turned over as an odds-on favourite at Chelmsford last time out, when it was very well fancied in the colours of Her Majesty the Queen. And I don't think that race at Chelmsford was actually that strong. I actually think that was a weaker contest compared to what he's running in tomorrow. You're going to have the likes in here tomorrow, some exposed types, but still nonetheless that run very well. The likes of Calder Prince does quite well. For Tom Dascombe, you know, is a massive price. There could be a lot of these kind of horses, you know, lurking in the shadows tomorrow that could easily beat Sovereign Grant. And off a mark, he was off 86. He's now been dropped £1 for that run, I should have said, at Chelmsford to 85. I don't think he's showing really that much that he's that well treated off his mark. And for me, even though there has been some money coming into him tonight, definitely want to be avoiding this one, and it's only really because of the connections, I think, why people are lashing onto it. Yes, his form as a juvenile was all right, but I think he's still got a long way to show that he's anywhere near of winning off this mark. And for me, I think you want to be taking him on tomorrow, and fingers crossed he can be our 7th consecutive lay. We then go my Longshot, which runs in the 625 at Windsor with a horse called Bowling Russian. This horse is currently 18 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment. Going to recommend the each way angle here, but they're only paying 2 places out. But I still think this horse can finish in the first 2. Trained by George Baker, and George Rook is booked for the ride. Now, in my opinion, George Baker is a really underestimated trainer. I went to his yard actually earlier in the year talking to him. I was looking at getting into some race planning, and he was a great guy, you know. Went into his office, made me a coffee, took me out on his gallop, showed me some of his stables, you know, and he's done really well with the ammunition he has. And this horse, Bowling Russian, ran all right last time on its seasonal reappearance after a break. Finished in 5th place after Leicester over 6 furlongs, but that was probably just slightly too far for it, and dropping back in trip tomorrow to 5 furlongs I think will suit. George Rook as well is booked for the ride tomorrow, and he's going to be claiming a handy £7, and that means he's going to be receiving bags of weight from many of his rivals. And I just think that can make all the difference tomorrow. He's a horse that likes to go up with the pace, and especially as well the track at Windsor. If he can grab the rail, he's in store for, so he should do. If he can get towards the rail and, you know, and dictate things, he's going to have the stamina to last home at the end, you would think, because he's won at 6 furlongs before. And also as well, I should have said, George Rook actually had his 2 from 2 on this horse when they teamed up together earlier in the year for wins at Lingfield and Wolverhampton on the all-weather. So even though this horse, he still probably has to improve, you know, he could definitely do this. And there's a lot of horses as well in here that even though, yes, they're from bigger yards and maybe have shown a bit more, they've got to go and prove it, you know, giving away quite a bit of weight to a horse like this that tries his heart out, you know. And for me, I think at 18 to 1 tomorrow, that's a nice little bit of small stakes each way value, and I can see him running a cracking race and maybe being a tough nut to pass. So for me, he's going to be my long shot tomorrow, and hopefully he can round things off. But I'll just do a quick recap on my selections tomorrow. In the 12.15 at Hamilton, Loaders Extra, we go with Aish, win bet only at 10 to 3. We then go in the 140 at Haydock with Loaders Extra again, with Orvar for James Doyle and Paul Midgley, 6 to 1, 4 places each way. My nap comes in the 320 at Hamilton with a horse called Big City, 7 to 2, win bet only. And that's my nap. And then we go to my next best, which runs in the 340 at Haydock with a horse called Brunch, 11 of 4 for Michael Dodds, win bet only. Lay of the day comes in the 410 at Haydock, taking on Sovereign Grant, which you can lay currently at the current time of recording for 3.4 on the Betfair exchange. And then we then go to my long shot, which runs in the 625 at Windsor with a horse called Bowling Russian for George Baker, 18 to 1 currently available at the time of recording. And that's going to be my long shot for the each way of 2 places. So that's my tips for tomorrow's race in action. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Lucky Loaders 15. You can also follow me on social media as well, where the best place to do so is on Twitter, where my handle is at Lucky Loaders 15. You can find all the links to all those platforms in the description box below. And also as well, don't forget to follow the Telegram page if you want to be part of that. And you can also as well check out my website if you want to as well, for a full portfolio of my work, which is www.chrisloaderracing.com. betfair.co.uk. Anyway, that's enough of me talking. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.